Bonjour, merci d'avoir rejoint le live. Donc aujourd'hui ça va être sur University of Westminster. Donc là je vais ajouter notre invité, Martyn. Donc j'attends qu'il se connecte. Sinon donc n'hésitez pas à nous écrire donc toutes vos questions sur la partie chat.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, hi, Martyn.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome to our live chat today
Thank you
on
very much.
Instagram.
Thank you for having me.
So can you introduce yourself
Yep,
first?
sure, yeah. Well, hi everyone. Salut, bonjour, la base. My name's Martyn Davies. I'm in the international team at the University of Westminster here in London. And yeah, I've been working at the university for about close to 5 years now. I've been over to Morocco, met Sarah, and last time I was there in February, had a great time. Rabat in Casablanca, and I'm here to answer any questions with Sarah that you might have for the September and beyond. And yeah, it'd be really great to hear from all of you to see how I can help you.
Okay, so can you tell us more about the University of Westminster?
Sure, yeah. So we are a British public university. We're based in the city centre of London, as well as having a campus in West London, which is about just 20 minutes away on the tube. We have over 19,000 students studying with us. That's how we had for the last intake, from over 160 different nationalities. So we are an incredibly diverse and international university. Alongside that, I mean, we've been educating for over, I think, around 180 years now. We offer undergraduate degrees, postgraduate degrees, also PhDs, if anyone's interested in that. And with us, being international and having an international outlook in terms of both our students, our lecturers, and also the opportunities that our students have. That includes being able to study abroad for a semester or a term, international field trips. You can learn another language on your course, and just a general open perspective on the world. Like London as a city itself, Westminster tries to follow that.
Okay, so regarding the undergraduate programs, how many years students need to study to get a bachelor degree?
Sure. So our degrees they're 3 years, 3 academic years, but they do also include an option to study 1 year again at one of our international partners, or you could do a 1 year work placement year as well. So 3 years academically, but potentially you could move that into 4 years in total.
And it's for all the programs, right?
That's for all the undergraduate programs, yeah. Some undergraduate courses do include a foundation year. So if you wanted to do a foundation year, or maybe you didn't quite have the grades or something like that, you could do a 1 year foundation year with us and then progress on to the 3 year degree itself.
Okay, do you have any top-up degrees?
We don't as such. Some courses do allow and do consider entry into year 2 of a 3 year degree. That will be dependent on a case-by-case basis. So, you know, if any of you students out there are already studying a year 1 at a different university in Morocco or elsewhere, we will consider you for some courses for a transfer, but it does depend pretty much entirely on what you've studied in your first year. So if you know, you can inquire with Sarah or myself and we can look into that.
So just to re-explain, that's basically for students who have studied in Morocco 1 year or 2 years. So it's not impossible that you transfer your program to the UK and continue your studies there, but it's a case by case. So the university has to see if you have studied the same thing as the students who were studying at Westminster University. Okay, so students are asking now for the exams for the IELTS and TOEFL. We will come back to this later. So for the master programs, what's the duration of studies?
Yeah, so master courses are 1 year full-time programs. So we have a September intake, and for some of our courses a January intake too. Obviously, with everything going on at the world at the moment as well, there's potential that a lot more courses will have a January intake for masters too. But typically, it's a September intake, so September to September. So with the master's course, it is a full year program, and you have 2 main semesters, September to December, then a Christmas break, and then semester 2 teaching will start around January, February up until May, and then you'll have the final project dissertation period.
Okay. Can you tell us about the entry requirements for undergraduate programs?
Yes. So
for Moroccan baccalaureate students.
Sure. So for Moroccan baccalaureate students, 15, overall score of 15 on the Moroccan bac. And that's pretty much the score required for pretty much all courses at the moment with the Moroccan bac. Alongside that, as you mentioned, English language test, proof of English language requirement will be needed, but yeah, 15 in the English bac.
And what about the English test required?
So yeah, so we do accept, so I'm moving my camera about quite a bit, we do accept different English tests. With everything moving online and obviously with the disruption caused by COVID-19, there have been some changes. So typically, we would accept an IELTS score of 6 overall with 5.5 in each section, or an equivalent recognised English qualification, whether it's like a TOEFL or a Cambridge. Since the worldwide situation started, there have been a number of new online English tests that students can take. Now, some of these, it can be quite confusing because there are a few of those out there, and a lot of universities are still assessing which ones we can accept and which ones not. At this moment in time, we can accept the TOEFL IBT Special Home Edition for Tier 4 students, and we are also in the process of assessing being able to accept both the Duolingo and the IELTS indicator for Tier 4 students. So those tests, are still sort of being under review for Tier 4 purposes for the visa, but TOEFL IBT Special Home Edition is something that we definitely can accept now. And on top of that, we actually have an in-house English test called a KITE test, which we can offer for free to students that have made an application and have an offer with us. So that's something to consider.
Okay, how can we book for this test?
So to book for that test, get in contact with me, get in contact with Sarah, and I'll just have to set set them up to take the test. It will be an online test. I think it takes around 2.5 hours to 3 hours. Students can do it at home. It's a typical type of English test, speaking, reading, writing, listening, etc. But it's all done online. But yeah, get in contact with Sarah or myself, and then we can look to set students up with access, because there won't be a set date to take the test, like as if you were going in to take an arts test. You'll have like a time that within that you have to take it. So you have 2 weeks from the date of getting access, or a month of getting access to then take the test.
Okay, so and also, can you tell us about the entry requirement for master programs?
Yes, so we do, of course, have. Let me just get something on my computer. One moment, sorry. Yeah, we do accept a variety of equivalent to a UK 2-2 degree. Let me just confirm the grades, because I know we accept the 4-year and the 3-year options available that Moroccan students can take. So let me just get this up. Sorry. Okay. So students do it with that's easy, isn't it? Okay, and it's kept it still. So students with a 4-year bachelor degree or licence, minimum grade of 12 out of 20 or 2.8 out of 4, and those doing a 3-year diplôme d'ingénieur d'état, excuse my pronunciation, minimum score of 11, we could consider that. So those are grades that we consider equivalent to a UK 2-2, And there are a small number of courses that would require slightly higher grades, like a 14 out of 20, but the vast majority for this year will be a 12 out of 20 or 2.8 out of 4, for example, for the year course.
And regarding the IELTS or equivalent?
And for the IELTS, so again, with the disruption that the coronavirus has brought to the people taking English language tests, normally for postgraduate entry, students would require for postgraduate 6.5 overall, with 5.5 in each section. But for this September, and I believe for January, if anyone's looking to study in January, for both undergraduate and postgraduate, we accept 6 overall with 5.5 in each section. And the same rule applies for equivalent recognised English qualifications. As long as it's at that same grade boundaries of 6 overall with 5.5, then we can accept it.
Okay, so just one more question. So for example, for students applying for January, will they have to show that they got 6.5 overall or 6.0?
I believe it will be 6 overall for January as well. I think we're still considering those starting in January to have the same effects as those starting in September, because a lot of test centres might not still be open. So it should still be the same thing that applies for January 21 entry as those of September 2020.
Okay, and how to apply to University of Westminster?
Sure. So with us, it's all an online application for undergraduate courses, applying through UCAS, the UCAS service, and for postgraduate, UCAS postgraduate. Very similar application systems, the same company. Students can select a number of different courses at different universities or at the same university. You need to write a briefish personal statement, and also just make reference to your different qualifications and work experience, kind of like a job application type application process.
And in average, like approximately how much time it takes to get an offer?
On average, it can vary, different circumstances and things like that, but typically we advise between 2 to 4 weeks at least. You should hear back from that time frame.
But sometimes it's even less than that. In some periods.
It could well be. It's just to let people. Some courses, probably more those that require portfolios and things like that, they might be slightly longer, but we advise around that sort of 2 weeks. You more than likely will get a response on that. And if you haven't, then you can always check up with myself, with Sarah, to have a look.
And to push it. Okay, so what are the range of programs the university is offering for undergrad and also postgrad students?
Yep, so there's quite a range. So we offer courses such as business and management, so specialisms within that area, from accounting, economics, marketing, international business, straight management as well. Then we have courses in the social sciences and humanities, from politics and international relations, also languages, which you can combine with, normally we don't offer the option to select joint honours. However, we do have a number of programs that are already set up as joint honours. So for example, international relations and Spanish, or international business and Mandarin. And other courses we offer include art and design related programs, from film production, architecture, of course, interior architecture, animation, fashion related programs as well, both design and business. And we also have science and technology based programs, so computer science, software engineering, multimedia games development, psychology, and also biomedical sciences, biosciences, and nutrition, for you like the lab type work.
Okay, so basically, like most of the available programs in all universities except medicine and pharmacy.
Yes, yeah. Medicine and engineering are two that we don't offer. In terms of engineering, it's only software engineering and medicine and engineering and nursing as well we don't offer, in case you have anyone's out there interested in that.
Okay, so what are the average tuition fees that students can pay for undergrad and postgrad programs?
Sure. So for undergrad, for international students, it's 14,000 per academic year. And then for postgraduate, those fees will depend on the program, and they vary from around, I believe, around sort of 12,000 up to 19,000. I think the highest price we have
Exactly.
is marketing communications or marketing management, and then we have an MBA as well, which would be slightly higher. But those are that's the sort of range that we have.
Talking about the mentioning MBA program, are they just for students who have work experience, or anyone having just a bachelor degree can can apply for an MBA program?
Yeah, so for the new MBA that we've just recently relaunched it, we had a gap in running it this year, and we just relaunched it, redesigned it. So for the new MBA, students won't require, normally you need to have like at least 2 years in a professional role, a management role, but for the new MBA that won't be necessary. Work experience, yeah, is not a requirement for our MBA. So, but it is welcome. Obviously, it does add to the class of MBA students because it adds to the richness of what people learn and hearing about different experiences. But it's not a requirement. So, anyone with an equivalent to a UK 2-1, so that would be for Moroccan students like a overall
14,
score of 14
probably.
out of 20. Yeah, 14 out of 20 or 3 out of 4 for the 4-year bachelor degree. That would meet the requirements for an MBA, and the course leader would assess the overall strength of the application and suitability.
Okay, so here I will go back to the questions that some people are asking on the chat. So
Yep.
is it still open
Yep.
for international to give? So like one person here is asking if applications are still open for international student for September intake.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've continued to take applications throughout the last 3-4 months, and for this September intake, I'll just go into a bit more information about how it's working, because I'm sure a lot of you've got a lot of questions for that. So the UK government, I think it was last week or the week before, confirmed, as we hoped, that the September intake can go ahead for British universities in a blended online physical distance learning approach to start with. So we're taking applications. The September intake will start as usual. The main difference this year will be that at the start of the program, like I said, there'll be less time on campus and more of a mix with online classes, but also going into university, hopefully, to do smaller seminar groups and use the facilities. But September intake is definitely going ahead, and applications are open. So if you're interested, then yeah, please do feel free to go ahead and make an application.
Okay, so can I apply to Westminster University even if I don't have an IELTS test exam?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you don't have an IELTS test or another English language test, or even if you're waiting for your Moroccan bac grades or your diploma, your bachelor degree grades, that's fine. The key is that you can make an application, and we will then look at which course you're studying, and we will look to make like a conditional offer. So as long as you can get your final grades to us, to our admissions team, before you start your course in September, then it's absolutely fine to apply. And that's what the vast majority of students do, both British students here and international students. Most students are made a conditional offer, and then they provide their tests in the time. I know the Moroccan bac obviously do as well, and then we'll take an English language test at a later date.
Okay, so here Ashraf is asking, because of COVID-19, so some universities basically are asking their students to sit for the final exam only in September. So that's especially for students studying Moroccan bachelor or even Moroccan master in Morocco. So, and interested to do a master program in the UK. So they will be having their final grades and certificate only by, let's say, the end of September. Can they still join September, October intake, or do they have to defer to January intake?
What I'll do after today, I will look into that, because with the course looking to start end of September, that may be quite late, but it may be okay. But I can't confirm at this point. But it's definitely something that we can look into. So is that across the board for all Moroccan bachelor degrees? Then they'll be getting the results sort of September.
Mostly, yes, mostly. Most public universities.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, do you offer
We'll,
any
follow up
scholarship
on
for
that.
international students?
Yes, we do. Yeah. So we have a number of part fee scholarships that the university offers to all postgraduate international students. Of around, this year it was £3,000. Each year it can sometimes change. It can go up or it can go down slightly and offer it to more people. But normally it's between £2,000 to £3,000 off the fee of the master's program. We also have a very small number of full scholarships that are available for international students as well. But it's always try and be honest and just let everyone know that there are thousands of applications for that, and we only have like maybe 4 or 5 that we can offer across the world. But there are more part fee scholarships. For undergraduate students, we have again a small number of full fee scholarships. But in addition to that, we tend to run agent scholarships like with Sarah at CasaEducation. So those are other options of scholarships that we could potentially offer.
I would just want to highlight one point is for those type of scholarships, there is a deadline that is applied to each type of it. So for example, for the full scholarship, I remember the deadline was the 29th of May, right? So students cannot apply for it anymore.
Yeah, so for this September, that's no longer available, the university's scholarships, full fee or part fee. And then that sort of refreshes itself. Then we see if we can get, depends on funding, but see if there's a January scholarship fund, and that deadline normally is around October, and then again for the next year it will repeat itself. But for this year, the scholarships have closed. They are normally the deadline is quite early on before the course starts.
Okay. Can students work while studying?
Sorry, sir, could you repeat that? My signal went a bit. Could you just repeat?
Yeah, yes. Can students work while studying?
Yeah, sure. Question. Yes. So as international students, you would have the ability to work 20 hours per week during semester, so during your course time. And in terms of class time, contact time, normally you have about 15 to 20 hours of lectures per week. So when you need to be in the university or at the start of September, maybe online lectures. So that's about 3 to 4 days a week. So there's plenty of time to do part-time work. You will have the chance to work up to 20 hours a week. We have a massive career development centre and team at the university. So as soon as you come to London, as soon as you start at Westminster, we will be working to try and help you find both part-time work, maybe working for the university as a student ambassador, maybe working on campus once we're reopened, but also looking at other part-time works in and around London. Obviously, there's loads and loads of jobs, part-time work available, and we'll help tailor your CV and get you ready for interviews to get part-time work during your studies as well.
Can you tell us more about the post-study visa, 2 years visa, that the government has announced recently?
Yes, yeah, it's an exciting time for international students thinking of coming to the UK because of this great new visa that's come into effect. Ordinarily, in the last couple of years, international students would only have another 4 to 6 months to stay in the UK to search for full-time work after they graduate. Now, any students such as yourselves on this call, once you starting in September, once you graduate, whether that's from a 3-year or 4-year bachelor's degree, or after a 1-year master's degree, you will have the right to stay in the UK for up to 2 years, working full time. So that can be, if you find it, you could be working. You could be working in a shop or in an office whilst you look for your dream job in an architecture firm, for example. You can do that for 2 years. You could go straight into your career full-time job. basically the key is that you have freedom to stay in the UK for 2 years working full-time or looking for full-time work. And that starts from the point that you graduate after your degree. We're still waiting for further details of it all from the UK government, but that's all been confirmed. And for any students that start this September with the mixed online and physical teaching, the 2-year visa will still be available to you as well. And anyone starting in January, it'll be there as well. So it's a great time. Anyone thinking of coming to UK and wanting to work after is going to be a great time to get professional experience after your studies.
Thank you. So another thing regarding the accommodation. So what type of accommodations can students take while studying in the UK?
So we have, well, there's a variety. We have university accommodation. So we have 4 different accommodation sites throughout the city where students have their own room, or they can have a shared room. They have a shared kitchen, very state-of-the-art modern facilities, very social place as well. Or students, if they want to like rent a flat or an apartment with friends or family or other students, then we can help them find that accommodation too. So there's university accommodation and private accommodation, and we have an accommodation team. And yeah, we're more than happy, or we want to help students try and find accommodation whilst they're in London.
Okay, so what's the average price for the student residence, for example?
Yeah, so student residence, it does vary, but it's between around, if I do it in pounds, around maybe £680 up to, it can go up to £900 per month. And that includes all bills. So all accommodation sites as well, they do include all bills, services, Wi-Fi, water, energy, all included. Plus they have 24-hour security and things like that as well. But yeah, 680 up to 900 for the month.
Okay. So just one thing, I will just highlight one information. For example, when you look for accommodation in the UK in general and you find ensuite, this means that you have your own bathroom. So,
yeah, that's
because
right.
I was
yeah.
asked this question many times.
Yeah, so that's yeah. So if you're looking at like the university accommodation, some rooms do have ensuite available. Others would just have a shared bathroom on each floor, or a number of different bathrooms shared. If you have ensuite, then the fee will be slightly more. Obviously, you've got quite a nice addition there, but that kind of thing will reflect the fee of the room. So yeah, if you're shared, it'll be a lot cheaper. But if you have your own ensuite, which means your own bathroom, then it'll be slightly higher price for that.
Okay, what's the difference between a BA and the BSc, Bachelor of Art and Bachelor of Science, and then MA and MSc?
Good question. Yeah, I've often asked. Yeah, it's just a type of degree. They're both, whether it's a BA or BSc, it's a fully qualifying bachelor's degree, honours degree. It's just BA stands for Bachelor of Arts. So as the name suggests, that degree would be more art related. So you have like architecture that are BA. You have some social sciences as well that are more BA. And then yeah, for art and design, etc., film production. BSc is a Bachelor of Science, so as the name suggests, slightly more maybe technical and scientific or technological along those fronts. And that's the same for the MA and the MSc. So the MA is more sort of art or potentially theoretical, let's say, as well, whereas MSc probably could be more technical and vocational as such.
Okay, here we have Hannah. When normally students can apply for scholarships for 2021 intake. I think she's interested by September 2021.
Yeah, so that will normally be around the end of May. This, as Sarah mentioned, for the September 2020 intake, the scholarship deadline was 29th of May. And it's normally, I think maybe the year before it might have been 1st of May, but it's normally around May. So it's advisable to obviously if you're interested, get an application off well in advance of May, maybe sort of February, March at the latest, and then you'll have plenty of time to work on your Westminster scholarship application as well.
Okay. For example, for MBA, you said that students need to have at least 2 years work experience. Can internship replace work experience, like full-time work?
Oh, just to clarify on that, so for our MBA, students don't need the 2-year work experience. So previously that was a condition, but for our new redesigned MBA, we've opened it up to students who have a 2-1, but don't have 2 years work experience as well. So if you just graduated and you have equivalent to was it 14, I believe, 14 out of 20 in your bachelor degree or licence, you'd be eligible to apply and we'd consider you. So for our MBA, our new MBA, you don't need to have the 2-year work experience. It's mainly academic grades and the strength of the application, which is quite unique because it's a good opportunity for recent graduates.
And what if a student doesn't have the 14 out of 20 in the bachelor?
For the MBA specifically?
For the MBA, for example, yes.
MBA
or any other master, if they don't meet the entry requirement for the academic entry requirement for the master.
Work experience does come into effect. So anyone with maybe 2 to 4 years relevant work experience, we can assess students on a case-by-case basis. If the grades are just short, then that will be a factor as well. Most courses do require minimum equivalent to a 2.2, so like a 12 out of 20 or 2.8 out of 4. However, like I said, if someone does have really good and strong professional work experience in recent years that's relevant, then I would advise them to still consider applying, make inquiries, and then we'll assess that on a case-by-case basis, really. Or
they can do a pre-master.
That's true as well, yeah. So it's like a foundation, but for master students. So if you're just short, you could potentially do a pre-master's course. We have a partner college in London called Kaplan International College London as well, and students can do a pre-masters there, where they will, upon completing that, they get guaranteed progression on.
And on campus London. And on campus London as well.
And on campus London, yeah.
So basically, the pre-master programs are between 2 and 3 terms. So either like 9 months, between 5 and 9 months of studies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think we've answered all the questions. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I would just say that, well, first, I hope everyone's well in Morocco and all safe with what's going on. I just thought I'd give you an update on what's going on in London, in the UK, in terms of lockdown and things like that. So, London at the moment is starting to reopen. Cafes and takeaway restaurants and things like that, and parks have all pretty much reopened. Schools have reopened. From the 4th of July, we believe the government's due to announce a lot more openings. So again, maybe like pubs, bars, restaurants should be opening within the 4th of July. Some museums as well, but with social distancing played into effect and making sure those measures are there. Beyond that, yeah, if you're thinking of applying, please do consider it. We welcome international students, Moroccan students. I think last year we had 39 enrolled Moroccan students at the university on a variety of bachelor degrees, postgraduate degrees. There's lots to do at the university in addition to your studies. So, on the social side, there are hundreds of societies from course related, from the marketing society, maybe you like salsa dancing, there's a salsa society, to sports if you want to play football in the national university competition, and there's lots of external speakers that come into university because we're based in the city centre. We have excellent links with local companies and industries. There's a lot going on in London at the university, a lot outside of just your degree. So it really is a whole package of London lifestyle and everything that comes with living here alongside your degree. And one thing when I speak to current students, Moroccan and from elsewhere, that they always speak very positively about is, well, firstly, location. Secondly, their diverse group of friends. As I said, we have over 160 different nationalities. So, you know, you make friends with people from all over the world, your lecturers from all over the world as well, but also the approachability of the lecturers. So the degrees are very practical. So everything you're learning is aimed at making you ready to work in the industry. The lecturers are all experts and are currently working in the industry that they're teaching. So you're going to get very, very professional, very vocationally led teaching, and they are very approachable. So yeah, you know, if you've got questions, you need extra support, you'll always have a personal tutor assigned to you all throughout your studies. The lecturers are there for you if you want to arrange a catch-up, ask questions about an assignment. And we also have a good mentoring scheme. So again, someone outside of the university that is working successfully in the industry, in the course that you're studying, you can sign up to have a mentor, and that could be an extra line of support and guidance, and someone like networking to help you find that career job that you want to, whether that's in London, UK, or Morocco or elsewhere. So yeah, that's the sort of the main sort of additional things I wanted to say. Thanks for joining today. And, yeah.
Okay. Another thing, can students do exchange programs abroad?
For bachelor courses, yeah, there is an option to do we call it study abroad, and students can do that for a semester, or they can do it for up to a year. So that's when we mentioned earlier about the 3 years academic course, but with the option to do a 1 year study abroad option. So that make it 4 years. So yes, for undergraduate, for postgraduate, because it's just 1 year, there isn't a study abroad option. But those courses tend to have, depending on the course, they have a lot of international study trips.
To which countries can they go?
Well, it's quite a broad range. It depends on the course where we have links with the similar university there. But for example, we have partnerships in Spain, France, Germany, Italy, and then further afield, Latin America, Argentina, Chile. I think we have some in China as well. So yeah, there's quite, not just in Europe, but further afield as well. It does depend on the course, but you know, we've got a wide range of international partners where students could go and study for a semester, for a year.
Okay, thank you so much for all those information, and I hope more students will start applying for September intake and also for January. And guys, if you have any questions, just don't hesitate to contact me via Instagram, WhatsApp, or by calling, or even taking an appointment and coming to our office in Casablanca. Thank you, Martyn, for joining this live again. So it will be it's recorded, and it will be posted on Instagram page in a few minutes. So I will also make another live very soon regarding the visa application, so how you can apply for the visa.
Cool, great. Yeah, thanks for having me, Sarah, and thanks for everyone joining in Morocco, and hopefully I'll see you soon, speak to you soon. Any questions, let Sarah know, or we'll get you in contact.
And good luck to students who will have to take the Moroccan baccalaureate next week.
Yes, best of luck. Bonne chance.
Bonne chance.
Bonne chance pour le bac.
Voilà. Bonne chance pour le bac. Merci beaucoup, Martyn. Take care, and talk to you very soon.
Take care.
Okay. Au revoir.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. Wow.